นาฮัดกาลิฟตอนนี้ครับ
A catastrophe struck without warning. On the night of October 21st, 2025, Phuket, Thailand's dazzling island paradise, beloved by millions of Americans as a tropical haven, was engulfed by ferocious flash floods after nearly 9 inches of rain pounded down in under 10 hours. Streets vanished beneath raging torrents, power grids failed, and entire communities were forced to flee in the dead of night. Landslides severed the main highway to Patong Beach, trapping tourists and blocking emergency access. Just 60 miles north, the resort town of Khao Lak faced an even fiercer onslaught as a monstrous wall of water roared down from the mountains, obliterating hotels, markets, and coastal homes. What started as a serene evening in paradise spiraled into chaos, terror, and a desperate struggle to survive. And this was only the beginning. The nightmare escalated with terrifying speed. By 2:30 a.m., floodwaters surged through Kamala's streets. At first, they lapped at ankles, but within minutes they roared past 3 feet, crashing into homes and hotel lobbies. Car alarms wailed as vehicles were swept away like toys by the relentless current. Families jolted awake to the thunder of water hammering their doors, forcing them to snatch their children, passports, and whatever else they could carry before racing to higher ground. In Patong, one of Phuket's most vibrant beach towns, pandemonium erupted. A landslide thundered down Patong Hill Road, severing the lifeline to the rest of the island. Emergency crews battled torrential rain and waist-deep water, but movement was nearly impossible. Hospitals scrambled to relocate patients to upper floors as floodwaters seeped inside. Power transformers exploded in the deluge, plunging entire neighborhoods into eerie darkness. In Khao Lak, a sudden tsunami-like surge from the mountains tore through markets and resorts, forcing tourists in beachwear and flip-flops to flee as ground-floor rooms flooded in seconds. In just 1 hour, paradise became a battlefield, and the island fought for its survival. As the waters rose, the night became a harrowing fight for life. Families who were sleeping just hours before now stood on rooftops, waving flashlights and towels in the pitch black, praying for rescue. Parents clutched their children above the swirling flood, whispering shaky reassurances. Tourists in beachfront hotels raced up stairwells as water swallowed ground floors, carrying luggage, shoes, and belongings out to sea. Emergency lines buzzed with desperate pleas. "We're trapped. The water's rising. Please, send help." Voices echoed from every corner of the island. Rescue teams battled treacherous currents in inflatable boats, dodging debris that slammed against them. Locals in some areas formed human chains, risking their lives to pull strangers to safety. With power outages spreading, only phone screens and faint flashlight beams pierced the relentless rain. In Kamala, hotel workers heroically carried elderly guests on their backs to a nearby hill as waters climbed past 4 feet. In Patong, volunteers paddled surfboards and kayaks to reach those trapped in homes and cars. Every rescue was a race against time, and the storm showed no mercy. By dawn, exhaustion gripped the island, but the danger was far from over. Meteorologists dubbed it a compound event, a deadly collision of weather systems. A sluggish tropical depression over the Andaman Sea merged with an aggressive southwest monsoon and abnormally warm ocean waters, reaching 86 degrees. This lethal mix birthed relentless rain clouds that refused to budge. In just 10 hours, Phuket was deluged with nearly 9 inches of rain, more than its usual monthly total. The island's stunning mountains, while picturesque, became its Achilles heel. Runoff cascaded down slopes, funneled into towns built too close to outdated drainage canals. In Khao Lak, deforestation on mountain slopes had stripped away natural barriers, allowing torrents of mud and debris to transform streams into rivers of destruction. Scientists warn these events are no longer anomalies. Global warming supercharges storms, making them wetter, fiercer, and unpredictable. Dr. Thanaporn Virachai, a Thai climate researcher, put it starkly. This isn't just bad luck. It's climate physics in action. Every degree of warming pumps more moisture into the atmosphere, turning storms like this into the new normal for tropical nations and coastal cities. As dawn broke, the scale of the disaster came into focus. Phuket's Emergency Operations Center sprang into action by 5:02 am, deploying over 500 rescue personnel, military trucks, inflatable boats, and medical teams to the hardest-hit areas. But the conditions were brutal. Floodwaters reached 4 to 5 feet in some neighborhoods, turning roads into rivers and isolating entire communities. Downed power lines and debris turned rescue routes into obstacle courses. Yet, teams pressed on, carrying children, guiding seniors, and delivering food, water, and blankets to those stranded. At Phuket International Airport, runways stayed operational, but flooded access roads left travelers stranded for hours. Airport staff and volunteers distributed water and set up temporary shelters in terminals. In Khao Lak, soldiers and volunteers worked tirelessly to rescue over 300 people trapped in hotels, markets, and homes. With communication networks crippled, teams relied on radios and flashlights to locate those crying for help. Through exhaustion and rising fear, one truth shone through. Thailand's unbreakable spirit of solidarity outmatched the floodwaters. When the rain finally eased, an eerie silence fell. Streets once alive with panic now lay buried under mud and debris. Sunlight exposed the devastation. Cars piled in chaotic heaps, storefronts gutted, homes coated in thick brown sludge. The stench of stagnant water hung heavy. Families returned to ruined homes, wading through living rooms where furniture, clothes, and cherished memories floated in filthy water. Schools and small businesses, already battered by a slow tourism season, faced repair costs in the thousands. In Phuket, hotel staff and tourists worked side by side, sweeping mud from lobbies and salvaging what they could. Community kitchens sprang up, with volunteers serving warm meals to displaced families. Phuket University students formed cleanup squads, armed with shovels, gloves, and trash bags, declaring, "We rebuild together." In Khao Lak, resorts dried mattresses in the sun while workers cleared debris from pools and walkways. Markets reopened with limited stalls, offering essentials to locals grasping for normalcy. Yet, beneath the resilience, a quiet fear lingered. If one night of rain could unleash this havoc, what would the next storm bring? The floods of October 2025 were more than a disaster. They were a wake-up call. Phuket and Khao Lak's rapid growth to feed tourism has come at a cost. Mangrove-lined beaches are now concrete hotel fronts. Tree-covered hillsides have been carved into roads and resorts. Without natural barriers, floodwaters raged unchecked. Urban planners and climate experts had sounded alarms before, but this devastation was undeniable. Drainage systems, built for a different era, buckled under storms supercharged by a warming planet. Rising sea levels, hotter oceans, and extreme downpours are reshaping coastlines across Southeast Asia and beyond. This isn't just Thailand's story. It's a warning for coastal communities worldwide, from Florida to Hawaii, the Outer Banks to the Gulf Coast. Climate change isn't a distant threat. If we act, smarter urban planning, stronger infrastructure, restored wetlands, early warning systems, and community resilience can save lives. Nature may be unpredictable, but our response doesn't have to be. Don't scroll past this warning. Hit like to spread the word. Share this story with someone who cherishes the ocean, and subscribe for more hard-hitting documentaries on the world's most pressing climate crises. Somewhere, right now, the next storm is brewing, and the time to prepare is before it hits.